All right, I'm here with my mum. Say hi, Mum.
Hi.
And I'm going to be explaining the differences between the accounting standards and the conceptual framework for financial reporting. So we're going on to the second PowerPoint slide, which is accounting standards. So the accounting standards are regulated rules that must be followed when preparing financial statements. They are used internationally, all under the same principles to make financial statements easily comparable. The accounting standards are a specific requirement for a particular area. For example, asset classification. In financial statements like the balance sheet, you have different forms of assets. They can be current or non-current. And a current asset is something that you'll use up in less than 12 months, and a non-current asset you have for longer than that. So the accounting standard is defining the difference between the current and non-current assets. People who use the reports know that they're prepared in the same way, under the same rules, which makes them easily comparable and transparent. And if the accounting standards weren't used, it would all just be a mess because people would be preparing financial statements under different rules. It'd probably be easier to falsify information. You wouldn't be able to regulate anything properly because it's all just done under different rules. So that's why they have to have specific accounting standards that are followed the same way everywhere. Third PowerPoint slide, we're going to the conceptual framework for financial reporting. So this is like a structure or scaffolding that's crucial to developing financial reports. So it's used by people who are writing reports and people like external users, which are like investors and creditors and that, looking at a company's reports. They might look at the conceptual framework too to understand the difference. Understand the differences in the accounting standards and why the reports are written in the way that they are. The conceptual framework answers questions about the financial reports, like who are they for, what information should be included. Like this report is written for external users to help make decisions about providing economic resources or like money to a business, whether they should do that. And then we'll also include things about assets and liabilities, the differences between the different categories. A current asset is an asset that'll be used up in 12 months, blah, blah. That's all information that's in the conceptual framework. It's like a Bible. And then it defines the characteristics of useful financial information. So that's like one of the biggest things is that the financial information has to be useful. So it's like, how is it useful? What makes it useful? What things does it need to have in it to make it useful? And then the fourth PowerPoint slide is the key differences. Does that all make sense so far?
Yeah, that's actually really well explained.
Okay. Okay, so the conceptual framework, the differences. The conceptual framework helps people understand and develop the standards. And the accounting standards are mandatory standards that must be followed in accounting. The conceptual framework is concerned with general purpose financial reports, whereas accounting standards are a specific requirement for a particular area inside a report. So in like one report, you could have lots of different accounting standards.
Yes, yeah, okay.
The conceptual framework helps people understand why the reports are written in the way that they are, whereas the accounting standards are the standards that are being explained in the conceptual framework. And the conceptual framework is used by people who write financial reports, and then users of the financial reports outside of the business as well. They can also be used by management accountants, like people inside the business can use the reports too, but they can generate all their own reports anyway, so it's not a huge thing for them. It's mostly like investors, people who want to give money to a business, use the conceptual framework to understand the reports that are written. And the accounting standards are used by accountants and other people writing the financial reports. Yeah, I think that's everything. Thank you.
You're most welcome.